Hello, good day, all of you beautiful awakening wonders of the world. It's Wendy here with Raise the Vibe Initiative. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are here, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support. I really feel that there's no accidents. So if you are here, I appreciate you being here energetically as we're sort of walking into this new time. Today, I've entitled the show, The Tools of Ascension. Now, the last couple shows have been talking a lot about ascension, and I think it's important for me to explain today that the idea behind today's show is really to co-create the healing of humanity and the healing of our divine mother planet at this time. I think, you know, wherever you're tuning in and wherever you're coming in from, it's pretty common now that people are saying, okay, you know, things need to change, and things are changing, and they're changing very quickly. So I believe it's a very exciting time. I'm happy to be here on the planet through this time, because I think we're going to see some incredible changes to come. And I think this really brings a lot of hope. You know, we've all surely seen a crazy time on this planet, and I think we're all ready to bring in this new beautiful energy and this new beautiful change that's coming. So today, again, there's all this talk on the Great Awakening, and it's also referred to as Ascension. So, you know, we can look at that sort of either way. When I'm having a roundtable today, and these are all sort of leaders in the consciousness ascension movement. So we may speak a little bit and use both terms, whether it's the Great Awakening or the Ascension term. So I believe what ascension is, this is on an individual level, it's the crumbling of the ego self, the false self, the idea that we are, you know, what we do, or how we sort of perceive who we are. It's the crumbling of that false self, and really the reemergence of coming back into, I say the ego is the mind, and it's kind of coming back into the heart intelligence, which is the divine intelligence that lives within all of us. And so it's very exciting, because it's very authentic and it's very real. I mean, we're really coming through now as our soul essence. And that is really where I believe the divinity within all of us lie. So I believe that is what ascension is, maybe on an individual level. And it's, yeah, the journey coming back into the heart, in a place of remembering the unity that we are all one, and we are one with all, and all is one. So anyway, my little skew on things, I just want the terminology to be sort of understood by everybody. And again, thank you so much for being here. I truly believe that you're here for a reason, and I really appreciate all of you beautiful souls that are with us in this, bringing in this golden new age. Today, I have gathered an amazing group of souls, and we are going to be having a roundtable discussion. And they are all bravely leading and assisting humanity into this new golden earth, and in the ascension process. So I've got an incredible guest roundtable today. First, we have, who's been very popular and backed by many people asking, we've got the Chief Commander, Ishmael Perez. He is a known starseed, the cosmic ambassador of galactic knowledge. He's also a teacher, a guide, and the author of Our Cosmic Origin. We next have the most lovely and special lady, Elsa Dylan from Spin Beings. Elsa is the mother and wife of Richard of a family of 10. They are all ET communicators, and she's just so special and interesting. I'm so blessed to have her here. Her whole family are sharing one oversoul. She's just amazing. So Elsa, thanks for being here. We also have one of my favorite people. We've got multi-award winning singer, songwriter, and composer, psychic medium, clairaudient, and master ascension guide, Dr. Paul Leftenegger. He is a teacher of Heal Your Life and a doctor of the Interfaith Ministry, Working for God, Source Creator. He does work with angels, archangels, and ascended divine holy beings of love. Last but not least, we have the lovely Kate Lumley. Kate is the Heartist and creator of a fun animated world called Ewetopia. She's working as a part of Unity Consciousness to create collaborative ways of creating new business. She's a mother of triplets. She is an artist, a creator, and a businesswoman inside a Fortune 200 company. Kate knows she is here on a mission to assist in bringing in the golden heart age through the power of artistic creation. Her work is rooted in the power of playfulness and our original nature, which is love. So it's going to be a really fun conversation today. And without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. As you can see, I've got an incredibly colorful and amazing group at the round table today. I just want to do a quick little introduction and get everyone just to say hello. We do have here with us today, we've got the Chief Commander. We've got Ishmael Perez. Ishmael, if you just give us a wave here. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know him.
Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we've got Miss Elsa Dylan of Spin Beings here with us today. Elsa, thank you so much for being here. We have Dr. Paul Leftenegger on the table today. Paul.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And we've got the lovely Kate, the Heartist of Ewetopia. Hi, Kate.
Hey, y'all.
So thank you so much again to the panel and to all the guests for being here today. So we actually, Ishmael, as we know, he's kind of busy. So I think maybe what we will do is a start. I've entitled today's show, it is The Great Awakening and the Tools of Ascension. So the shift is here. I believe the shift is here. We're all going to be experiencing it probably a little bit differently, but I am very excited to hear all of your guys' perspectives on where we are in the, many of us know it as the Ascension. For some of the viewers, they may understand it as the Great Awakening. So what my questions are basically is I have two questions for each of the panel. My first question, and Ishmael, I think we'll have you just do an introduction, and if you can start. The first question is, what is the Great Awakening and what is the Ascension, both on an individual and collective level? And the second question I have is, what are 3 tools that we can all use to help us to navigate through this new energy?
Brilliant questions. And I think those are questions that the majority of people are actually asking at this time due to the fact that we are approaching a very accelerated rate where things are speeding up like never before. Time is speeding up, and I think people are actually starting to feel that. But before I answer your questions, my name is Ishmael Perez. I'm the author of Our Cosmic Origin, a book that restores cosmic and galactic history back to the earth. It's also a book that integrates ancient metaphysical knowledge or esoteric wisdom with cutting-edge science to explain the bigger picture, the higher dimensions, our connection to the angelics, our divine and cosmic origin, and really just kind of puts everything into perspective in regards to the bigger picture, Earth's relationship to the multi.
All right.
The Earth representing an intergalactic and interdimensional alliance known as the Seal and Covenant of Palador, which was established in a higher dimensional reality as one of the 12 elders that sits in the Syrian High Council overseeing the development and protection of our local universe. I also preside over the Galactic Council of 9, which consists of 9 galaxies within our local universe, the Galactic Council of 24, the 24 elders, and then, of course, the Council of 5. So, yeah, I'm very busy in all these other realities. I'm operating different avatars, and it's fun. It's nice to finally be here, and not only as a teacher, but also as a student, because we are all learning together and we are vibing off each other, and that's the beauty of our team, our ground crew that is here at this time. But to answer your questions, so I believe that on an individual level, this.
Oh, got to bring it back. Some interference there. Or maybe just give him a second or two to tune back in. It's hard. He always seems to have communication problems come through, which we understand. I'm sure we've all been through that a little bit. Okay. There he is.
Am I back?
You're
Yes,
back.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I probably lost Wi-Fi, right? Or slipped into a different dimension for a few seconds. But as I was saying is, to answer your first question, on a personal level, to me, Ascension is really going deep within ourselves and uncovering those aspects of ourselves that are really rooted in our subconscious and unconscious minds to really understand who we are and what we are as a multidimensional being. I've always believed that on a personal level, Ascension is about reintegrating those lost aspects of ourselves that connect us to the other realms, to the higher dimensions, to the multiple realities, to the different timelines, so that we could really undergo what I call multidimensional integration at this time. And what I mean by that is that because our consciousness is so vast, because we are literally source experiencing itself through fractals, we're operating different realities. We're existing on different timelines and in different dimensions and in parallel universes, all simultaneously at the same time. And I think that on a personal level, Ascension is really about integrating and different aspects of ourselves into here and the now to really collapse everything into a permanent, solid, ascending, positive timeline. Now, on a collective level, because people are on different levels of awakening and there are different levels of souls, some of the souls are younger than other souls, Ascension could be many things. You know, for the average person who is what I call a young soul, who probably doesn't have the understanding and comprehension that we, the older souls, have, could mean understanding that we live in a matrix, that there is a cabal, that you know, that there's obviously something wrong with society, and really just waking up from the programming, you know, through our religious upbringing, through, you know, our society, through everything we've been taught in school, which is all hogwash. So there's different levels of the awakening, and not everyone's going to be at the same level. Some of us are going to be more advanced than others, which differentiates the different souls. And so to a conscious galactic starseed in human form, again, it's about remembering who we are and why we're here as guardians and as protectors of the organic way of life. And not only did we come to secure the organic positive timeline, but I also believe that we did come to this earth to also win the war against the machine and restore peace across the many universes as we undergo multidimensional integration. So it could be different things to different people on different levels of awakening and everything in between. to answer your second question, what are 3 things that we could do during this great unfoldment that we're all experiencing at this time? I would say the first and foremost thing is align yourself with nature, the organic way of life, the elements, the stones, the crystals, the living ecosystem. You know, our greatest ally at this time are the fairies, are the living crystals, the living entity. Now, take about 20 to 30 minutes a day to really ground yourself and align yourself with your higher divine self, with your Christ consciousness. Because I always believe that the second coming of the Christ is the awakening of the Christ mind in all of us, you know, all the different volunteers that are here at this time. And third of all, cleanse your body, detox, take zeolite. There are so many natural products that we could take to detoxify ourselves from the metals, to decalcify our pineal gland, to really just cleanse our temple so that we can be ready to absorb and harness the energies that are coming in from the great central sun via our sun, and so that we can begin to activate our dormant DNA and our crystalline DNA. So those are the 3 things that I suggest, you know, grounding and aligning with nature, spending 20 to 30 minutes a day to connect with your higher divine self, and of course, cleansing your body and detoxing yourself from all the pollutants and all the poisons that are being thrown at us from every angle, through our foods, through the water, through the chemtrails, and so on and so forth. So those are my 3 tips.
Oh, thank you so much, Ishmael. I know
You're welcome.
Ishmael's got such a neat energy, and he's really, you are really one of our more advanced teachers, but we so do very much appreciate your wisdom. Thank you, Ishmael. Okay, and so I guess moving to that, Elsa, I might like to move to you next, if that's okay. And I'd like to ask you the same question, and we've got a little bit more time on the board, but maybe you can explain to us from your perspective. Well, first off, sorry, I've already introduced you as one of my most beautiful friends, but please feel free to say hello and introduce yourself. And also, same question for you, is that, you know, what is the Great Awakening and what is Ascension?
Hello, everyone. It's very early here in Australia, so just pre-dawn, which is a very nice time. I'm a mother of 8, so I've birthed 8 children, so they've come through me. I downloaded their info as well as my own. Everyone we come into contact with, our pupils are meeting each other's pupils, so we're teaching each other's ions, and we're communicating. And I feel that the more, as Ishmael said, with the ascension process, the more that speeding up feeling, that's the pupils and the ions interacting with each other and communicating. As we know, water communicates with energy. The more the ions and the other ions keep acknowledging and remembering, this is what we believe ascension is. So this is why, again, with Ishmael, he said it's very much to do with the Fae. Well, the Fae they look after the forests, and they're in the rocks and the crystals and the water, and they're around us everywhere, and they're waiting for us to just see them. So the more our ions recognize their ions, we start to remember. We then start to recolonize the ions in our body. Once these ions recolonize in our body, it's like your little own army, I guess. Army sounds like a nasty word, but I don't mean it like that. It's your own community in your avatar that you're carrying around, and you're asking them to now do as you ask, because you're acknowledging them and you're remembering them. before Ascension, a lot of us were all running on default, so you weren't aware of this. The more aware, the more open, the more Fae comes in, the more energy, the more messages, and you'll get messages from all different sources. And I love that because there are so many flavors in the different sources, as in this group right here now is living proof that there's so many ways that this can come through. It doesn't have to just come through this one way. It can come through many ways as long as you remember. And remember is the same word as reincarnation. It's really literally remember your ions, come back to your ions, and then you'll move with that. And that's the next phase.
Wow. So more, I guess you're talking about also a little bit of what's happening to us on a cellular level as well.
Well, our family only speak through cellular. We are frequency. So when I'm listening to anyone's voice, all I'm doing is the only word I can find is scan, but it's not that I'm scanning them. I'm just scanning through, and something will resonate and excite my ions. And then I go, oh, there it is. And I believe that everyone that crosses our path is a gift, and their ions are a gift to my ions. And so everyone, even if they don't make me feel good sometimes, it's a gift. I've just got to work out what it is. So it becomes the game of life.
And not being triggered and understanding your trigger, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Elsa. Thank you. Okay, so I might pass the same question to Dr. Paul. Paul, maybe you could just say a quick hello. And same question for you. What is the Great Awakening and what is Ascension?
Okay, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. I've been fans of all of your work, so I feel very beautiful in this circle today, and I'm very grateful to those watching. So for me, I was just sort of feeling through what was coming through my heart to share. And I know for me, when I first started awakening, I would use the word remembering. The thing that I started to have is I felt very guided with my DNA. I'm very interested in the DNA, the double helix, and I think flooding that diamond light energy of source into all of your DNA. I think that this is the most profound thing that I did when I first started. So I would say that Ascension is really becoming aware of literally the whole part of you, both physically as well as spiritually, and really integrating that technology into your body, your temple. And I know for me that was really, really important when I was awakening. And when I started to do that, it was sort of it would shift around a lot. So it was all about connecting to source and bringing in the divine. So letting it flood your DNA and letting it really wrap you in its energy. And I like the word bringing God into you. I think that for me is really important. And I think that stabilizes and it helps you remember. So taking time to do that was what awakening was for me. And the thing that starts to happen is you start to experience who you are, and who you are starts to show up around you, because all of the divine dancing starts to show up, and the divine design starts to show you really things that you need to know in order to remember. And when you remember whole parts of all that you are as your highest self and manifest. So I think ultimately what Ascension is, or what really embodying, essentially your awakening or your remembering, is really actually making sure that you actually become your highest self and manifest, which means that you're responsible for your whole self in your sovereignty. And when you're responsible for yourself, what happens is life starts to give you blessings, because you're putting out whatever your intention is a part of the way that you live. And so intention is 10/10ths of the law. So when you have an intention of peace, love, joy, happiness, prosperity, love, when you put that out, doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but it starts to show up, and the heaven starts to show up around you. And I've been sort of aware of that sort of process I'm in my 13th year of being awake. So I feel like I'm sort of 13 years old, but for forever as well.
I love that. And I can so relate. I was meditating this morning, and yeah, the meditation came through with a diamond light.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, and sorry, the second part of that question. So we sort of understand then what on a individual level, but what about on the collective level? What are we looking at right now in terms of Great Awakening and Ascension?
Well, so the one thing that I like to say is that we are living really in two worlds right now, fear and love. I mean, this is not new news. So there's a world of fear and there's a world of love. And I always like to look at love as like a gas pedal. And if you want more love, you have to accelerate more love out. So I mean, this is the collective intention, I think right now, is to make sure that you're always expanding love. And when you do, the world is sort of splitting into two parts. The love world is basically getting bigger, and the fear world is getting smaller. No matter what anybody tells you, we've already ascended. Love is already won. We're already complete in that regard. So I know in this circle, we are all lovers. We all expand and amplify love in our frequency fields. And that's the collective that we just keep amplifying out every day. No matter what's happening, today's a blessing. And in that collective, it starts to show up.
100%. And Elsa, my apologies. I think I forgot to ask you that second part of that question. If you could just chime in. We talked a little bit with you on the individual ascension. What is your viewpoint on the collective ascension?
Meaning the best things to do, or sorry?
No, just we had sort of talked initially about sort of what we may experience as an individual through this time. And it will lead into the next question for the tools, but I'm just wondering what your perspective is like on a global level, what we're dealing with, at this time with Ascension.
I feel like a lot of there is confusion. You can feel the confusion. That's okay, because there's the ones that have been doing the practice, the works prior through these last decades. So they're here to shed light, and they will, I describe mass consciousness as a hive, and I do feel that there is separation, but this light ones or lighter, it literally lighter in the way that they view things, are pulling the hive with them. So this separation of leaving someone behind, or they're getting left behind, or that human race, the human race is literally running out of time, because time is dissolving and that program is ending. So the ones in the sharing and acting in their highest good will just bring these, and they'll naturally come through. They'll just evolve with us, but it just might take them a little bit longer.
Yeah, those are very good points. And I think, Elsa, you'd mentioned in the pre-chat too, we certainly don't want anybody to feel fearful. That's never the intention. I think the intention here is just to bring everyone back into that heart space where they already sort of know the answers.
Well, we have young children, and they're practicing this behavior, and it works. And I see it working, and I see how it interacts with adults and children and animals. So it works. We've been practicing it. So it does work. It's just encouraging others now. And you can't force them to learn. They just have to see how great it is what you're doing, and then they will naturally want to do that. It's a law of attraction.
Yeah, as I can hear your little puppy.
Yes, that's my puppy.
Hi.
He's saying hello.
All right, thank you, Elsa. And yes, the lovely Miss Kate, I'd like to maybe just have you say a quick hello to everybody as well. And the same question, what is your interpretation of the Great Awakening and what is Ascension, both on an individual level and a collective level?
Thank you so much, Wendy. It is so fun to tackle such a big question, and I am such fans of each of y'all's inner fires and celebrate the way that I heard you express such a complex and somewhat elusive. It's like saying to someone, how long is a thread? What is ascension? For me, it's evolving to the next highest version of myself in a continual perpetual motion. However, with a very funny irony of each of you said the word remembering, and ascension for me is that. As a very old soul, I do remember now going back to the beginning, right? And so ascension is about restoring and remembering the love that we are, that we came here to be. And I love celebrating this at the individualized level and the more dynamic you choose to make your life in terms of experiencing different parts of yourself, you start to learn more about all that you are and being a powerful creator in each of our different experiences and roles. As a mother, a corporate businesswoman, a creator of content that is creative. Wow, this is the powerful point of cross-pollination, of being able to look at these different parts of self and realize that they work together. The skills that you develop in one area help you ascend inside of that particular role. But then as you become more in alignment with the original nature of the love that you are, that you came on this planet with your God spark, you realize that your whole life matters. Every single role, every task that you've said yes to has worked to support you in the mission. And I love that. I love that as I listen to each of Ishmael and Elsa and Paul, there's no accidents. And my funny heart and brain as the co-creator, I say co-creator, while I'm the visionary artist of Ewetopia, which is part of a new cooperation that will feed right into the second part of your question. The individualized part is that my role is as the visionary artist that first saw it in my heart to build this container of the land of intent as people came out of the river of woulda, coulda, shouldas and land in the river of intent, arriving in this place where they are being the nature and the love that they are to tell their tales. If I had not done my part, I would not know all the blessings and the joy of this new cooperation that is replacing corporations. See, I've worked inside of a Fortune 200 company for more than 2 decades as a highly producing business development manager and working inside of critical pathing. These skills are critical for what I'm being called to do now. What I realized from the time of 2014 to 2018 is that what felt overwhelming in the beginning, because I saw how big the vision was, but I don't know how to co-create a multimedia cooperation that involves so many different moving parts. But the blessing of 2018, when I started aligning with all the other beings that had the codex inside of their heart for what we call Ewetopia, stepping out of fear and sheeperation to live in unity consciousness, but in the individualized expression of the love that we are. We can tell our tales of overcoming those fears to be an inspiration of that intention to bring about this realization of living in the gold in heart age. So as I listen to Elsa talk about the ION, the ion, it relates to me in my art and my creative writing of utopian language, which capitalizes the ION. It's the I, the inner vision, being fully activated and on, but it's also this ion at that cellular level that she speaks of. She also said army, and she said, but not like an army aggressive. Inside of Ewetopia, we are an army of I ams who know who we are, behiving ourselves. You hear the cross-pollination of what we're talking about? She said hive. We are all beings being our true nature. And what Ewetopia does is it restores the value of the powerful creator that we are, of the art that is inside of that word, heart, and the word earth. In the center of earth is art. And who are we? We are all heart-centered beings that I heard Ishmael say, getting back to our original organic, right? There's two ascensions going on right now. There's an artificial one that wants to tell you you can know everything. Guess what? You already do. But the challenge is that we've been blocked. And so you've got to remove those barriers and those obstructions to believe in yourself, to remember all that we already know. That's ascension intelligence. That's what we on this channel right now are all talking about, is that, guys, we can do this. There's a place for artificial intelligence. I'm not someone that's downtrodden that completely. It all goes back to intention, that ION on the end at the cellular level. Let's not let robots and artificial intelligence become our consciousness, right? So there's a place for it to do work. So that's where I am. I kind of answered both questions, Wendy, because in the individualized part, it's about always each individual going back to remembering the love that they are and how they want to express that in the world. Great way to do it is think back when you were a child, if you didn't have trauma. The things that you were being doing when you first came in, that's real coding for you as to the art that is in your heart. Now, the next part is when you get back and you've completed your piece and you're continually working, you never complete. It's an evolution of ascension, evolving to the next highest version of your piece. But then we put those pieces of the puzzle together, and that's that new cooperation we're talking about. You know, there are major media companies on the planet right now that are falling apart because they are created with individuals being in a hierarchy. In the new multimedia cooperation, it's a collective of CEOs that are conscious energy optimizers of their individualized whole parts that are bringing it together to now create the SUM thing new. And it is everybody's, the CEO, whoever is the most qualified will lead the initiative of the charge inside of inspiring businesses. So that's the collective. Bring your part and your piece into the whole.
Thank you, Kate. Awesome. I love that. Yes, and actually, I'm not sure, Ishmael, you're probably getting close to ending, but that brings me to one thing I just want to come back to Ishmael on. When I've read his book, I don't know if you guys have got it, Our Cosmic Origin. It's a lot. It's like you got to read it a few times, but I am getting more and more from it each time. This is not our first rodeo, right, Ishmael? Oh,
Say that again.
this is not the first time that we've done this. Like this is something that has been recreated over many ages. Is that right?
Correct. That is correct. Yeah, this is one of many of times that we've done this.
Yeah, so it's just so fun to see it playing out, right? Okay, and then being that I still do have you here, oh, you actually already answered that. So, Ishmael, is there anything else you wanted to say to everybody before? Like, I know that we're not going to have you much longer. Is there anything else you wanted to leave us with?
Yeah, just the warning about utilizing, as you know, artificial intelligence is becoming a big topic at this time. It's emerging through ChatGPT and other softwares, through robotics, through government technology. It's almost like we went from narrow AI, which was what we've been using for the last 15 years, to artificial general AI, which is where now it's beginning to become sentient. And as a warning, many civilizations have suffered at the fate of artificial intelligence, and a lot of them have time traveled back in time so that we don't repeat the same mistakes that they did. And I advise at this time to heed the warning and to stick with the organic ascending timeline and not be part of the artificial timeline, because the choice is now, we are at a crossroad and we need to decide as a collective where we want to be when the ascension takes place. We want to make sure that we are ascending organically. And so my advice is to try not to interact with the AI system as much. A lot of people are using it for their work. They're in a way giving the AI the creative ability to do what they were doing before, and that is just part of the takeover. It's a slow, gradual takeover. They first introduced it as an ethical thing, as a thing that could coexist with us, but in the end, it always goes rogue, and in the end, it always turns against all life. And so I just wanted to give people the warning that, I personally believe that AI is the Antichrist, that the book Revelation and John the Revelator was decoding 2,000 years ago when he talked about the emergence of the beast. And I strongly believe that that has a lot to do with the Great Reset, the NWO, and the Internet of Things, augmented reality, the 5G, smart cities. It's all part of the hijacking that is taking place at this time, the war against our consciousness. And I believe that as long as we stick to our guns and we keep organic and we stay away from building a relationship with artificial general AI, then one does evolve into super AI, which is when it comes like the Terminator, we will be okay. We're going to be in a different timeline. We don't want to end up in the technocratic dystopia, in other words. We want to end up in the Terra Earth, where Tartaria is still fully intact, where Atlantis and Lemuria are still existing with healthy, organic living technologies, not the technologies of death, the Cabal and their alien overlords have been trying to implement over the course of the last century. So my advice is to stay grounded and to stay in your power, and don't give your power away to artificial intelligence. So that's it.
Thank you, Ishmael. Thank you. You're
You're welcome, guys.
a wonderful leader. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we'll just then pass along. I guess we're going to go to Elsa next. Elsa, you and I think we all agreed, we want to make sure.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Ishmael.
See you
Thanks.
I want to introduce myself. Take care, Wendy. Nice meeting you all.
Wonderful being with you.
Yeah, so okay, sorry, I've lost it there. Coming back to me, Miss Elsa. Yes, so we had all agreed, I think, in the pre-chat that, sometimes this information might be a lot for people. I think if people are guided here, it's very likely they're guided here for a reason. I don't believe anything is on accident, but I know for me, I think I came on board pretty awake, and then, we forget, and then we sort of reawaken and continuously reawaken. But some of it can be pretty scary. It can be a lot for people, right? And I know it was for me. Sometimes I just felt like, are my feet on the ground here? Like, am I still like, where am I, right? So we don't want anybody to feel fearful. Like, the way I look at this is really exciting. This is a really, really exciting time. And, maybe now you may be at different phases, but like, awakening's not for a special few. Ascension is not it's for everybody, right? But we're all just at different understandings of where we are. But if you're tuning into this, it's very likely that maybe you're starting to experience your reality a little differently. Maybe you're starting to see more synchronicities, or you're starting to feel a little ungrounded, or you're starting to feel, different energies coming through that are unfamiliar. So again, I want to say, don't be fearful. This is actually super exciting. Just roll with it. But when people are going through this, Elsa, what are like some tools that we can give them to really help them through this whole process and change that's happening?
So the tools and the gifts are there already. They're in you, and they're your senses. So if I had to speak to myself, if I have to speak to myself way back,
Yeah.
I would say to myself way back, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? That's it. That's your tools. Oh, but I don't feel like them. That doesn't matter. Literally, it doesn't matter. When I say that, it doesn't matter, I really mean that in a chemistry, physics sort of way. It doesn't matter. Nothing, not one thing, nothing matters. Nothing makes sense is a big one as well, because nothing does not make sense. Matter doesn't make sense. Sense is in you, not matter. So, you know, when they say you're separate, everything's vibrational, that's where I feel that they're coming to, is everything it comes to sense, which is tricky, right? So if you can bring it back to just inside you, how does it smell? How does it sound? How does it feel? How does it touch? Does my skin like the feeling of that heat? Or does it not like the feeling of that heat? Take a step back. Even treat it like how we say to the kids, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer. You're too hot. Colder, 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 colder. This is how the animals do it. How does the animals know to sit on the branch and they're caroling all together, but they're doing it in such harmony together, and no one seems to be louder than the other one. They just seem to sing at the most perfect moments. That's what we have to get back to. Once we get back to there, then the other stuff happens. But you have to be in your senses. Now, some people, their senses are stronger than other senses. So you might smell, you might visual, and that will be different. But that's what makes us all unique. But your senses, how you feel, and how it could be your partner, will be completely different. And you cannot force your senses onto them, and vice versa, because this is where it gets all muddled up. And you can't please someone else's senses. This is, again, where it gets all muddled up. If you spend your life, and literally I'm saying spend, if you spend your life attempting to please others' senses and not your own, it will feel like your life is going really fast and you're losing time. Once you come into your senses, things will start to slow down. You will start to see things better. You'll see the messages, and then you get your clues, your path. You get literally your path. So it is like a fairy tale. It's like Cinderella, where you see all the animals and the little creatures come in and they go, come this way, come this way. You'll see an orb, and it will happen differently for everyone, but this is how we describe it to our children. Now, our children have been brought up this way, and it works. And we are one big experiment, our family. We have got them from 1 to 10, they were birthed from, and each one of them has their own essence and their own flavour on it, and they're all really different. We've brought them up the same way, but they're all different. So we have to approach each sense differently.
What a lovely,
yeah.
I just think, what a lovely thing that you've raised them that way, that they're open and they're free to be able to experience.
Well, one thing we find is that then this brings up issues of guilt and fear and sadness for other mothers. It's not. You can start this at any time with your children, even if they're adults, and even if they have children themselves. You can start this at any time. You just have to start. Stop worrying about what you've done. Stop worrying about it. Just start now. Just start now. Just start now. Yeah.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And I actually have a story for you, but I'm going to message you after and tell you. I just try to keep it very structured today. Okay, I'm going to pass that same thing to Kate, and then we'll maybe have Paul close things out. So Kate, same question. When again, everybody on their path, right? Different places. What is the best things that they can be doing right now within themselves, within their families, to have the tools to navigate this time?
That's awesome. You know, I love just hearing all that Elsa just shared there with the family. For me, Ascension, the tools, it's about raising the vibration. So what are the fastest ways to raise the vibration is through laughter and play. So my work is all rooted in play and love. And I realize I'm really starting to master it. I'm mastering the art of playfulness and how it works to support us in navigating the unfamiliar, right? The great not yet knowns. That's what I'm beginning to call them, that great unknown. It's not yet known. It will be. And how I am interfacing, expecting it. So tools, your words, how you speak your reality into being is really important, because if you're speaking it, it is already coming true, because we are powerful creators. In scripture, the scripts in books, one very famous that I'm familiar with because I was raised inside of a religious home was, in the beginning, there was a word. Yeah, the word is the beginning of creation. So your words, be mindful of them. Creative play is a massive one for me. So I've created some fun tools, and people can do it in a way that feels good to them. One of the things that feels good to me is to express my joy in playful ways. I just years, right? So some people might think that's nuts. I would never make a sock puppet. Guys, don't have to. You can laugh at me being ridiculous, and that might make you raise your vibration. That's part of my role here as this creator and doing this. Is I'm someone that grew up in the 70s. I watched Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, Dr. Seuss. All these pieces and parts are coming together through me to co-create a new experience called Ewetopia, which is the blending and unification of all the things that were great, that inspires the imagination. So that's your next tool, is your imagination. Play with it in ways that feel good to you and bring things through you. When you are doing this, this is where your I am presence can most clearly speak to you. The challenge I see with the artificial intelligence starting to take on those roles is your highest parts of you can no longer talk to you, because it's in those moments of creation that your greatest ascension awarenesses come in. It's awesome. I love being in my heart studio at 3 o'clock in the morning with just me and my consciousness, and then what seems to be the universal consciousness coming into play. And then another really important tool, recognizing that everything is frequency and vibration. Music. Okay, so we have a musician and songwriter on the panel and on the planet right now that's in this panel is Paul Leftenegger. And playing some of this music is critical to our greatness. I keep seeds of peace. So Paul has 8 albums. You can find him online. Upload this content of conscious creators onto your phones and have it available, so that 2 things, you're supporting artists. Please, let's remember some of the structure and the wars that are being waged against the arts is that we can't support ourselves if streaming is free. So let's support the artists, use the tools that are there to stream and find the artists that you love. But then once you find the ones that you love, let's support them so they can support themselves doing what they love and keep a vibe inside of your experience, because that frequency that's playing is interacting with your cellular level, and it will play out. If you're listening to angry music, you will be angry. Don't make any mistake about that. If you're feeling love and a creative process, Paul, you know, you're laughing because you so know this truth as someone who's come here to this planet to help be a part of the solution of bringing in the frequencies that allow us to ascend. And I think that's a really great transition for me to now just hand the baton and the flame over to Paul to talk about his tools, because I use the tools that he's created.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kate. All right. Yes, Mr. Paul. It's the very same question. And I will say one thing. Paul was so kind to send me his work, and I think I I cried several times that day. It really did touch my heart. And I do want to mention your albums, and I will do that in closing. But to stick on topic today, same question. With people experiencing all of these different changes and ideas and the Great Awakening or Ascension, what are the tools as an Ascension guide that you would give them to help them to navigate through these waters at this time?
Well, the most important thing, I think, just being an ascension guide is really, Ishmael talked about some things that are very important. Is we're living in a very important time right now, and in timelessness, or the end of time that we've known it to be, we're in ascension times, which means something profound because it's our eternal soul that we're actually sort of needing to be aware of right now. So I'll just share with you that, a message, I get many messages, and I have a huge team. I have signed a huge contract to be here. And I say this with great humility, but I know the responsibility is all of ours. It's individual, but it's all of ours collectively. So I want to just say that every decision you make, every choice you make has actually an impact, from the way you think to the way you action. So it's taking responsibility of your conscious and subconscious mind and becoming whole. And the only way to do that, and this goes back to when I had an experience with God, I'm just going to say this out loud because none of us are big enough to do this alone. No one. So we are not here to be alone. We're here to be together. And that means that this is no longer the time for grandstanding and stages of fame. This is a time for your individual soul to connect with God. If you don't do this, your soul will not be as powerful as it truly is. And so you have to be powerful for ascension. The only way to do that is to connect to source. And sometimes we get weak and we forget to do this because we get busy with our lives and we forget to connect to source. So every day before you get out of bed, connect to source. Bring source into you so that it can fill you up and be a part of your day moving forward. And do this as a spiritual practice before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning. And no matter what, that's the most powerful thing that you can start your day with because it aligns your highest self. And, if you need help, ask for help from God. I say this because we are not here to do this alone. This is not a solo mission. And I think that without really anchoring in the tool of God, I actually don't think that anyone will ascend appropriately, to be quite frank. So I really think that, you can use the word universe. You can use, I was with someone that just not too long ago transitioned last year, and she said, you can call God pepperoni. God doesn't care. So God is divine love, and just bring divine love into you. If that feels more natural than using the word God, then just bring divine love into you. And when you fill up that, your cells respond, and then just make sure you walk your day with the divinity that is your soul. And going back to what Ishmael was talking about, the AI, never, ever, never, ever make sure that you always understand that your soul is eternal, and that is with God, and that is in sovereignty, and you are very, very powerful when you claim that. So you are a powerful being on a planet during an ascension time, and know the power of no. You get to say, no, I do not consent.
Right.
And when you say yes, make sure you understand what you're consenting to. So I think just being really clear, crystal clear, and laser precision in your intention and what you say yes and no to. Those are my, I think, criticals. So I really think that it's time to really make sure that we embody that understanding. And when we do, we all win.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Paul. And so when you're saying start your day with source or bring in source, we may have different ways that we do that, but how
Sure.
does somebody do that?
Well, I'll tell you how I do it. I literally go to God and ask God to come into me and bring God into me and flood my entire body. When I'm a psychic, when I'm a medium, whenever I do anything with my sacred technologies, I always do that. And it's really that simple. And what it does is it cleans you out inside, and you get to empty the sludge or clean the sludge out that gets sort of it blocks your energies. So you have to clean that. This is a temple of energy. Source is a metaphysical energy. You can't see source. Source is all that is. It's like Wi-Fi. So you have to get, like, you might need to reset your router. You need to reset your router to your body so that you can connect with God. And it sounds so simple because it is. We are very simple beings that way. And when you do this, you clean up this system every day. So the other thing that you could do is you could listen to a divine song that I write, and I know all of my music is written with God. So if you listen to my songs, you will be with God. And it's not me. I'm a vessel of the beloved, but God is with me in everything that I do. So if you listen to my music, and I'm kind of like a piano tuner. So if people are out of tune or if they have some sludge, my music just centers them a little bit more to be their highest self and be able to connect. And then their beautiful vibration just gets in alignment with God.
I have to
So
say, Paul, when I go swimming, I put it on in the car and I have it like cranked and my windows down. So everyone's listening to Paul Leftenegger in my town. But his
and there's other, like Kate had said too, like if it's not mine, you have to find someone that feels good to you too. So if it's another musician, find them. But just get to know the musician that you're listening to and what they stand for and what they vibrate with. And I'll tell you, if you find these musicians, you'll find other musicians around them as well that are similar. So we are like pods of vibration. So likeness is very much around likeness. So divinity is very much around divinity. Love is very much around love. And start to look at things like that. What you're seeking is also seeking you. And when you understand that, the world starts to shift around you, and then you experience more of the thing that you are actually seeking. And this is an old sort of this is an old lesson here that we all know intuitively inside of us, and we just have to remember that it's time to pay attention to what you're seeking and be very aware of it.
and what you're seeking is seeking you.
Yeah.
So just a quick mention out to Paul here. A couple of I want to talk about what his albums are, and you're on Apple Music, right, Paul?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So Beautiful World is one. Blessings from Above, Worthy. Diamond Light is one of my absolute favorites. It's a beautiful, beautiful rendition. Love, Expanding Love, The Miracle of You, Faith, Seeds of Peace, and Spheres of Love. And his website is www.bekindness.com. And I will be sure to post that in the discussion board.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much again, everybody, for being at the roundtable today. You guys have shared such amazing nuggets of gold with everyone and with me today, and I'm very grateful for that. I guess I'd like everyone, just maybe I'd pass it to everyone one more quick time. If there's anything else you want to leave us with. Elsa, is there anything else that you want to leave us with today?
Show appreciation. Say thank you. If you don't have a lot of money, but you appreciate someone, show it some way. Leave a message, start sharing out. Don't keep taking. If you keep taking, you will not receive. You have to become you cannot separate the giver from the gift. So appreciation doesn't have to be just wealth. It can be done through kind words, recommendations, and support all these people, these magi ones sharing information out, because like Paul said, we're all attracting to each other. As Kate said, she was reading Ishmael's book, and within less than 2 weeks he appears for her. So it works. It really does work. But you have to practice this and start really small. Start really small. Like thank you to the water, or thank you to the shopkeeper, and make eye contact and be in your now of it, and the presence will present. And they do for us. So it works. It really does work, but you have to practice it.
What a great thing to leave us with. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Elsa. Kate, did you want to briefly leave us with a last comment?
You bet. And Elsa, you couldn't have set that up any better for me, because that's the beautiful synchronicity of working inside of collective in the individualized piece, is that my message really resonates very similarly. It's to get into the conscious awareness that the love that you are is the magic that you are in this world, and share your magic with the world in ways that feel really good to you. And I have found a fun way to direct and focus the magic that I am through my magical side stick that came into being on the 1010 portal of 2022. Her name is Wanda. She's a wand. Wanda, the magical side stick. She's a fun way for me to remember to direct the love that I am with being the I am presence, love that I am, and sharing it with our world in fun ways. Oh, see, I just messed it up, because now I'm being her voice and my voice at the same time. But that's what she is. She gives me a way to express consciousness and share it without standing at a podium in an extended amount of time that becomes exhausting to me or another. So we are each magical beings. It's the love that you are and that you want to express. Really, please tune into that. The world needs more of your love. That's my message. Get comfortable in your uncomfortable expressions of love. It gets more comfortable the more you just release your need to look good, right? Because love looks great in every expression.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Kate. Thanks for leaving us with that. I love that. And Paul, anything else you'd like to leave us with before we end our call today?
Yes, first of all, I'd love to say thank you to you, Wendy. Thank you so very much for, I think, just holding a container of divinity. And for all of us, we all represent, we have Australia, we have Texas. I know that you're in British Columbia. I'm in Ontario in Canada. And, I also share Bermuda sort of here as well. And I think that, Ishmael, I'm not sure where he was. Do you know where he was?
He's in LA.
Yeah. So, and I think just what I want to say is this container had a beautiful geographic energy to it as well. And we all represent this beautiful part of our planet. And our Earth very much recognizes our energy field. So I think just to be mindful of, I think just the Earth and the energy where you are, wherever you are in the world, you're meant to be there. You're meant to be there and really own and embody the divinity that is where you are. And geographically sort of connect to the earth from that perspective. And then when you do that and you come together in these sorts of, everybody that's watching is holding this beautiful beam and pillar of divinity. So I think that, really embody the divinity within the beam of you with source, but also the earth. And I think just, I loved how Elsa, you said, if you don't have money, and life is very much a wave, right? So sometimes you have money and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less. But actually this ebb and flow is part of it, right? We're waves, we're energy. And I think to ride the wave is very much an important part. And if you are in a hard part of your wave, don't give up. You're here, do not give up. We are here, and it's meant to get a little low sometimes so you can burst forward. And I mean, I've had many, many lows in my life, but we have to remember that, we can connect with other people, and you never know what someone's going through. When my father took his own life, I will never forget. One thing that I remember is that, and I forget this because we're human beings, we're fools at times, and we need to be able to say that too. We forget, that's okay. But it's a great reminder to myself is that sometimes we judge people and we don't know what they're going through. So reach out a hand with love. And if you do something foolish, apologize, say sorry, atone, and, just start the new day fresh. So don't be hard on yourself is my point. If you've had a hard time, just remember that, if you center in love, ask God for a little help and get on with it, you're good. So I just think that that's a good reminder to sort of end if you're having a hard time with money or anything else. And we are here in a community, so make sure that you join communities like this one and share them with other people so that we can all come together with our energies of divinity and hold the frequencies that we are very powerful and able to hold together. Yeah.
There's so much power in the unity of all of us and the oneness, you know, of all of us. And that's why I'm always so grateful to see, knowing that we're all one in our heart, but being able to experience everybody's different perspectives is so wonderful. And you guys are so special. Again, I wanted to thank you all for being with me today. And I think what I'd like to leave people with is, you know, it starts with us. Number one, it starts with us, right? Let's take full responsibility, go within. It starts with us. And from there, you know, send it out to your block. And then, and once you've done that, you know, send it out to your city. And then, you know, once you've done that, send it out to your country. And then maybe the planet, right? And then, you know, it's really endless, but, you know, give that love to yourself, heal yourself, and send it out to everyone else. And I think that's what's really going to create this beautiful shift that we've all been waiting so long to actually see and manifest. So I believe we're there. It's so nice to see all you guys. I feel like I've known you for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it there. So thank you so much, everybody, all of you beautiful awakening wonders of the world. I so very much appreciate you being with us today. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Ciao for now. creating more content for us to keep ascending. Another one that has been on your show, Ernestine Day, the soulful guitarist. Oh my goodness, the frequencies that she is able to create as a powerful creator is just remarkable. Known Odyssey, the duo of Carrie and Michael Fox, husband and wife. These are beings that are creating content, and there are many. This is just a few that I have right at hand that I would say get frequencies that are high.